Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Sunday morning, the 25th of August. I'm going to stick with the Madeline Soto case today and the utter depravity that is Stephan Sterns. If you saw my live stream from yesterday evening my time, which was episode 8 of the Sterns Files, reading through the discovery of a monster. Some more documents have been released, a bunch of audio and a bunch of police body cam, all been released. So, in that live stream, I read through some information about Jen Soto, her later interviews, what happened after Stephan Sterns had been arrested. So, that interim period between him being arrested for the 60 charges of child abuse against Madeline and his arrest for her murder at the end of April. So in that live stream, I read through a timeline of one officer from Kissimmee Police Department, Officer Morris. Officer Smallwood is mentioned a lot, seems to be Morris's partner. And I've now acquired a report that was written by Officer Smallwood, so we get their input. In this video, I'm going to read through what Officer Smallwood said, and it gives us even more context to what Stephan Sterns was doing to try to cover his tracks. Let's go. Now, as I said in the live stream yesterday, as I said in a video that I did a couple of days ago, there was an aspect of the discovery that was released back in June, the nearly 900 pages, that was reports from the Orange County Sheriff's Office and Osceola County. And in one of those reports, it said that a cadaver dog alerted on the outside of Jen's car. Didn't alert in Stephan's car at all, but alerted on the back wheel rim of Jen's car. I didn't understand that at the time. I do now. So let's have a look at that dog actually alerting. I got this from Gray Hughes' channel. I'm sure that a bunch of other people have played this by now. I'm just going to play a few seconds of this just for the context of what that dog actually did. Now this is a cadaver dog. He's a Belgian Malinois. And here he goes. So you hear a little bit of Gray as well commenting.
Look at that, it's really into that.
So there he is. He lies down and he barks. So that must be his alert to the back wheel rim. And then the officer takes him out, turns him around, brings him back, and the dog alerts again in the same spot. So he's coming back in now. And there he is, goes right back to that same spot. It's clear that that vehicle was in contact with human decomposition. It makes sense because Jen's car went back to the dump site. I and others keep calling it the crime scene. Of course, it isn't a crime scene. It was processed like a crime scene, obviously, because that's where Madeline's body was found on the 1st of March. But the actual crime scene where she was murdered was inside the apartment. But I'm going to read you a page here from Officer Smallwood's report. It's what happened immediately after Madeline was reported missing to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. So eventually a call was placed to the Orange County Sheriff's Office to report Madeline missing. After meeting with deputies and completing the report, Jennifer and Stephan returned to her residence for the night. Jennifer said she took her medication and ate some food. Stephan told Jennifer he was going to go cruising to look for Madeline, and Jennifer questioned him if that was a good idea. Stephan told Jennifer he was going to look up and down 192 for Madeline. 192 is the United States highway that runs east and west through central Florida, and he was off 192 on Old Hickory Tree Road that Stephan dumped the body. So there he was in the early hours of February 27th. Then, the day after, on Tuesday, February 28th, as Stephan slept, Jennifer began making phone calls to the national hotline for missing and exploited children about Madeline. So I think she knew that Stephan was involved. I think she didn't want to believe it, and that's me being kind to Jen. Because we absolutely do not know if Jen went with Stephan, because one of the reasons why he might have gone back to the dump site is to take Jen, to say goodbye. That's not out of the list of options for me. Why did he go back? Is he a necrophiliac? Lord forbid. He's a lot of things. I hope he isn't that as well. Did he take Jen back there? Did he go on his own? Is he a necrophiliac? Did he go to try to hide Madeline's body better than it was? Because she only ended up there because he got a flat tyre. So was his intention to move her body and then he decided not to? Don't know. Why did that dog alert on the outside of that vehicle? Is it because he actually placed her in the trunk? See, the doors of that vehicle were closed. When the cadaver dog sniffed around Stephan's vehicle, the doors were open. Whereas in Jen's car, I don't know why, but the doors were closed. So that back wheel rim, the scent could have been from the wheel itself. So he'd driven right up to her decomposed body. Or the scent could have been coming from inside the vehicle, and that was just the place where the scent was coming out. And he may have put Madeline's body in the trunk and then decided against it. He didn't know what to do, and he just dumped her body out. We'll never know, will we? We'll never know unless he decides to tell us what went down there. Anyway, morning of the 28th of February, Jennifer contacted local news stations to put the information out to the public. Soon after, news reporters came to Jennifer's residence and completed an interview with both Jennifer and Stephan. So there was Fox News and the local station, WFTV. Detective Hunt responded to Jennifer's residence for follow-up interviews with Jennifer and Stephan. Detective Hunt received consent from Stephan to review his cell phone. During this, Jennifer and Stephan were inside her vehicle outside her residence because the residence was secured pending a search warrant, and they went to a hotel that night, the last night of Stephan's freedom. Jennifer stated, as they waited in her vehicle, Stephan became very anxious and very panicky because he wanted his cell phone back. Well, he wanted his cell phone back because perhaps he realised cops would be able to find his Google account, because he factory reset his phone, but he'd saved all his nasty photos of Madeline on his Google account. He backed them all up on his Google account. So he probably realised that they would find them. He'd have to be completely stupid if he didn't realise that. So this is what he tried to do. Jennifer eventually gave him her phone and he started trying to log into his emails but was unsuccessful due to a two-way authentication issue. Oh, I hate that. Don't you hate that? You set up two-factor authentication because you think it's going to keep your account safer, and then you can't get in. I've done that with Facebook so many times. Anyway, I asked Jennifer what the conversation was like between her and Stephan as they waited in her vehicle, which she stated they discussed how law enforcement was focusing on Stephan, the wrong guy. So who was the right guy in Jen's mind? She just didn't want to believe it, did she? I think she knew, and she didn't want to believe it. She knew because she'd been feeding her daughter to this monster. She knew. Come on. From then, Jennifer and Stephan contacted Chris Sterns to notify him on the situation and ask him for assistance with a hotel room for the night. Yeah, to pay for it. So Chris drove from Northport to Kissimmee to help them out. They met Chris at a hotel by Disney where they stayed for the night. What happened then? On Wednesday, February 29th, Jennifer and Stephan met with detectives at the Orange County Sheriff's Office for a press conference. Jennifer eventually learned that Stephan left the hotel Tuesday night and travelled to Northport, Florida for unknown reasons. Well, what Stephan actually did was try to get into his parents' house, but he couldn't. And he went to a storage facility that Chris had. And in that storage facility, when cops eventually searched it, they found a hard drive from a desktop computer, which had no evidentiary value, surprisingly enough. Maybe Stephan had managed to get stuff off that beforehand, because when he was in Northport on the 24th, he was messing about with the desktop computer. This is 2 days before the murder. The fact that he's been arrested for first-degree premeditated murder tells me a lot. And the searches he did, the Google searches he did, go check out my live stream from yesterday, and the anaesthetic that he was trying to buy. What on earth is all that about? I'm going to do another video on that, because that is absolutely insane what he did. We don't know the results of Madeline's toxicology report. We know that she was strangled, but we don't know what drugs she was on and what quantities of drugs Stephan had given her. Maybe a whole lot more than hydroxyzine. Anyway, in addition to this hard drive in the storage facility, they found 2 USB drives. And on one USB drive, there was 35,000, with 3 zeros, 35,000 images of child porn. Let's fast forward to May. This is a conversation between Stephan Sterns while he was in jail and his dad, Chris. I think Chris is working with the cops. So this is very, very telling. On May 14th, at 14:03 hours, Stephan makes a telephone call to Chris Sterns. Chris puts the call on speakerphone so Stephan could speak to him and his wife at the same time. Deborah told Stephan someone put on YouTube that he wasn't at Madeline's party. Well, he wasn't. Stephan states he had not made it there in time and everything was going good after he got to the house. He didn't make it there in time because Jennifer's family didn't want him there, as it says in another report. All right, 8 minutes and 32 seconds into the call, Stephan states, there is no reason for anything to happen that happened, which is weird. There is no reason for anything to happen that happened. Chris then asked Stephan about the events of 2/28/24, meaning why did Stephan drive to Northport, Florida? Stephan stated, I had wanted to grab a few things and get my ducks in a row. Well, if you're not guilty, you've no ducks to line up, have you? Kind of prepare myself for whatever was coming. Oh, he knew what was coming. But I couldn't find what I was looking for. Oh, you can feel like breaking into song at this point, don't you? This is during the time Stephan tried logging into his Google account using his parents' Wi-Fi, but was unsuccessful. It's believed that Stephan was attempting to log into his Google account because of the two-factor authentication issue that he encountered on Jen's phone to delete the images and videos of him abusing Madeline. Well, too late. Cops had already seen him. Chris tells Stephan he wished they could understand how this whole situation came about, and Stephan replies, well, I didn't start it. You didn't start it, Stephan. Well, who did? Was it Madeline saying no? Was it Madeline saying that she had a crush on a boy and you got really jealous? Was it Madeline who got you angry? Or was it something else? Given that this was premeditated, it appears that it was anyway, what was it? Well, I didn't start it. Chris told Stephan he participated in it, and Stephan says, yeah. So he didn't start it. Who did then? Is he trying to put the blame on someone else? Who knows? At no point during the conversation did Stephan deny that he murdered Madeline. A copy of the phone call was submitted into evidence.com. How this guy can be pleading not guilty, I've got no idea. Maybe he's holding out for some kind of plea deal. Maybe not. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts about this utter monster in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.